And as many of you may know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and the Women's Freedom Center had organized two special events, and Sherry's here to tell us about that.
You got it.
Sherry, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's good to be here.
Sherry, the last time you were here, we were talking about the Women's Film Festival. Could you tell us how it went?
Thank you so much for asking. Yes, it was really just a delightful time all the way around. We're always, every year, thrilled to host this film festival, which features films by women, filmmakers from around the world. So it was well received, well attended, and it was a great sort of start to spring. And, you know, what's always kind of a real gear shift is that going from the Women's Film Festival in March, we come to April, which, as you mentioned, is Sexual Violence Awareness Month. So there's, no less urgency in either month to get these messages out, but certainly there's a tone shift in the month of April. We've already had a few things come up in April that we've hosted, but we still have two wonderful things coming up that we invite folks to think about attending.
Wonderful. And those two events are going to be taking place in Brattleboro very soon, right?
They are. So the first of these events is a men's discussion group, and this is actually this was initiated by an ally in town who has an education background. Folks may know Scott Kaltenbaugh. He's been an educator for over 10 years, and he has especially focused his work on helping young men explore issues around identity and healthy masculinity. So he actually invited the Women's Freedom Center to be a part of some of the initial conversations in this group, which we're delighted to do. But the group itself is then going to go on and just be an ongoing group every other Thursday. And people can find out all the information on the Women's Freedom Center website, which is womensfreedomcenter.net. Click on Facebook. Scott has created an event there. But basically, the group starts on Thursday, April 20th at 5:30 at the Co-op Community Room. And the initial theme is looking at, men who want to be better role models for the young men in their lives, men or, male-identified folks who want to come talk about how toxic masculinity is affecting all of us, people who want to be an ally to folks of all genders. So that is kind of the background theme for the men's discussion group, and it's going to meet every other Thursday for about 90 minutes. So for any questions, they can certainly call the Women's Freedom Center or visit us online, womensfreedomcenter.net or 257-7364. And one of the things that's terrific, aside from Scott, inviting us to participate in just some of the initial conversations, is it's broadening the scope of allies for social change. And we thought, especially during Sexual Violence Awareness Month, that would be a fantastic time to start this group, because we really want to debunk the myth that sexual assault is mainly a women's issue and that it's mainly women's work to try to end it, because we know that the kind of toxic teaching of masculinity, or toxic masculinity, I should say, that impacts rape culture. It doesn't just affect women. Anyone could be a victim of sexual violence, and we welcome male allies to speak out and to participate, not only in this discussion group, but in the other event that we have coming up at the end of the month, the Take Back the Night rally that you and I talked about off the air.
Take Back the Night. Sherry, tell us more about it. What is it, Take Back the Night?
Absolutely. And so for folks who maybe aren't as familiar, Take Back the Night is actually a worldwide event that's been going on for over 4 decades now. It's kind of become this spring ritual during April. I think it's over 30 countries that have some form of activism and call it a Take Back the Night rally. And it can look different in different communities, but we are starting, ours is actually happening on Thursday night April 27th, and we're actually collaborating with one of our sister programs. Our theme this year is Solidarity Without Borders. And by borders, we mean geography, gender, any other aspect, which is why some of our events this month include male allies, right? We're debunking that notion that it's just a women's issue. It's a human issue and a human rights issue. But we're also partnering with one of our sister programs that does the same work as the Women's Freedom Center right across the border in Western Massachusetts. NELQUIT is the name of that program. So those advocates and community members and survivors from Greenfield and Western Mass are also joining us in Brattleboro on the Commons. So we're super excited about that. Again, all that information is also on our website, womensfreedomcenter.net. But for BCTV audience, it's happening April 27th. We meet at 6 p.m. on the Brattleboro Common. And the first 30 minutes or so are going to be a pretty lively rally. And our main speaker is Senator Becca Balint. We'll also have some musical guests there. And then we kind of take off together on a peaceful but pretty lively protest march through Brattleboro. So we're going to have banners that are already made. Folks are welcome to bring banners or signs or pickets if they have them made. There'll be a chance to make them on the lawn, on the common before we go. We'll also have bullhorns and chanting, and it's just going to be kind of a lively, inspiring protest march through town. People can come alone. They can bring friends if they want to. Again, they can bring a sign or help carry one of the ones already made by volunteers. So however they want to attend, everybody is welcome. So this is not just for survivors. It's a chance to show solidarity for survivors of sexual assault. And again, this really could happen to any one of us at some point in our lives. So that march is probably going to be maybe 45 minutes or so. It's not clear how many folks will attend. We end back at the Common, though, and then things really quiet down considerably. Any media present are welcome to stay, just as community allies, but at that point, we ask that there be no further recording of what happens at the candlelight vigil. And together, as a community, we form a big circle and light candles, and it's a chance. We will start and end with some music, and it's a chance for anyone to speak out. So survivors may want to share a little bit of their story or speak out. Friends and allies may want to speak out. People are welcome to read something, either a poem, something they wrote, or something that they found somewhere that speaks to the occasion. Once in a while, someone decides to sing a song. We welcome that at the Candlelight Vigil. And, again, it's a chance for, it's a collective chance, really, to grieve and to heal. And it's also perfectly fine to come and just stand in silent support for whatever is shared in that circle. And it takes away kind of it tries to help end the silent burden of victims of sexual violence, to just know that they are standing in a community of allies who together want to help dismantle rape culture, basically. And so every April we have an event to mark that intention and that occasion. Men can be victims of sexual abuse. Transgender people can be victims of sexual abuse. All humans might be victims of sexual abuse, and this is why, we're calling it Solidarity Without Borders, because it is a human rights protest, essentially. And so all allies are welcome. And as always with any of our events, if people have questions, they're more than welcome to give us a call. If our Facebook event doesn't answer questions, please feel welcome to give us a call at our office, which is 257-7364.
Thank you, Shuri. And thanks to the Women's Freedom Center for organizing this event. Would you tell us a little bit more about the Women's Freedom Center?
The Women's Freedom Center, for folks who maybe aren't as familiar, we are the domestic and sexual violence resource agency for Windham and Southern Windsor County. And we changed our name about probably 6 years ago, but a lot of folks still know us by our original name, which was Women's Crisis Center. Same organization. So we've been doing this work in this community for 43 years now. And we have a pretty active Facebook page. Folks are welcome to follow us there. And we have events going on all year, and many of them are open to the public at large. So if people are interested in getting involved, there are lots of ways to get involved to help out, or just to come and learn things and share in conversation with our community. So we invite you to check it out, womensfreedomcenter.net.
Thank you, Sherry. That's very important. So again, Take Back the Night will take place on Thursday, April 27th at 6 p.m. at the Brattleboro Common, and it goes until 9.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some kind of marching around town,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back to the common for more awareness talks and kind of visual. And if you have any questions, please call the center 802-257-7364. And the other event, very important, because this is going to be something that will start on April 20th,
Mm-hmm.
but it will continue.
It will continue.
And hopefully it will grow.
Hopefully will grow. It will become whatever the participants choose. We are joining the conversation just for the initial few weeks, but at that point, Scott is open to hosting something ongoing that, is a chance for men to have some of these important conversations and have solidarity with each other.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Scott? I have heard about him, but...
Yeah, and folks can check out, he had a beautiful article that was just published in the Common. I think it was 2 weeks ago, but people should still be able to find it online. And it was looking at sort of the beautiful skill for all of us as humans, but certainly also for men of listening, listening to people with different experiences. So Scott has an SIT background. He's been an educator in different arenas, and he also has hosted different men's discussion groups to take a look at, how do we sort of refuse the lessons of sexism, or the messages of sexism all around us, and the messages of violent masculinity that are harmful, not just to women and girls, but to men and boys too. So he is extremely skilled in that regard, and it should be a pretty fascinating and enriching experience, I would say, for all of us. This discussion group. And again, after the first few weeks, it was going to be for male-identified people.
Thank you, Jerry. That's fantastic. So I hope all of you can participate in this rally, Take Back the Night, Thursday, April 27th, 6 to 9 p.m. at Brattleboro Common. And in the invitation for the men's discussion group, which starts April 20th at 5:30 p.m. at the Co-op meeting room. And I hope this newly minted men's discussion group grows and becomes another of the great support organizations in Brattleboro, such as the Women's Freedom Center.
That would be terrific. We welcome any allies in whatever fashion. I think it really is going to take all of us to try to help undo rape culture, and it does affect all of us. So it's good to have more allies joining the work.
Thank you, Sherry, and thanks to the Women's Freedom Center for all the great work that you people do.